Hello, we're on Psalm 80 today. It's a bit of a gloom and doom psalm, this one. It's talking about the people of God, Israel, and as you start to read it and look through it, you just think this is a people that are in a desperate place. It's a people that are being humiliated, a people that are downtrodden and everything else. And I think even here we just have to remind ourselves that the reason that the people of God, the Israelites, are in this place is actually a national disobedience to God. That as a nation, they've done things their way, and they've been pre-warned that if they don't follow God, if they don't put Him first, then the consequence is it's not blessing, it's cursing, and the consequence is their enemies will come at them from different directions. Now, again, as a reminder, they were also told if they correct that and realign with God, then His blessing will flow. So yeah, we can look at this and go, it's a mess, which it is. But as with all the Psalms, I think we need to get hold of those bits of hope in the desperation. And you could look at this as a salvation prayer. I just want to pick out a few key bits, with the backdrop that they're praying now with this deep cry, deep desperation because of the mess they're in. And change comes when among, if you like, the circumstance of the nation, there are people that turn and pray. And prayer, is it's almost like it creates a place. It's not almost like it does. It creates a place for the flow, the favour, the blessing of God to come towards earth. And here the psalmist, he starts off, "Please listen, O shepherd of Israel." He's starting off. He's going, we know what you like. You shepherded the descendants of Joseph. It's like, Lord, this is who you are, and this is the starting point really of any transformation that's going to come. And it's the same in our own lives, that sometimes we need to stop and go, Lord, this is who you are. You are the shepherd. You are my shepherd. You are the one that has demonstrated that you've looked after your people. He goes on, "O God, enthroned above the cherubim, display your radiant glory." Again, later on, he says, "Show us your mighty power. Come and rescue us." And we've got the beginnings here of a cry that will bring the transformation that's needed. And in our lives, in the lives of someone that doesn't know Jesus, it does need that, that internal cry. It needs the message of the gospel, but the message of the gospel lands where there's a heart ready to respond to the Father's love. So here, out of this mix, you have this cry, "Oh, shepherd of Israel, lead us. You're the one enthroned on the cherubim. You're the one that displays your radiant glory. So show us your mighty power. Come to rescue us. Turn us again to yourself, O God. Because make your face shine down upon us. Oh, then we will be saved." It's amazing, really, when you look at it. He's caught something. He sees something that's beyond, the challenge that the nation are facing. He's been the one that has had an ability to see beyond the circle. I've stopped there so you didn't see me sneeze. I might end up sneezing again in a moment, so I will just put you on hold if I do. Back again after sneeze number 2. In verse 3 here, he says, turn us again to yourself, O God. He recognises that a nation has to turn. He says, make your face shine down upon us. Only then we'll be saved. And I think we're touching here on something that is speaking beyond the circumstance of the day, but into the fact that God is the one that saves. And for you and I, as believers, we can see circumstance and cry out. But the same, I think, applies to those that don't know Jesus at this point, that as they cry out, it opens a door for God to answer. It opens a door for him to break in. Later on, the psalmist talks about what's happened in the history, where he goes, you're the one that cleared the ground for us. We took root and filled the land. And elsewhere, it talks about God is the one that makes space for us. And again, the psalmist here is referring to this in, it's in the context of a negative context, but let's just take the positive for ourselves, that God is the one that creates space. God is the one that creates that place that we could walk in. He's the one that clears ground and makes room that we can take root and we can flourish and fill the land that we're given. I look at the garden sometimes and I'm like, I look at the clear ground. It's one of my favourite things. It's just at the end of the season, clear the ground. It all looks clean and tidy, ready to start again. But God gives us in life clear ground. Maybe today you're in one of those places where you feel a bit hemmed in by stuff, and there's your prayer really. It's like, Lord, clear the ground for us. Elsewhere, you can look at the prayer of Jabez. There's a little book on that, which is really about, Lord, give us space to flourish, give us space to grow, give us space that our roots can become established. Now, I want to drop here to the end of the psalm, verse 17 onwards, because one of the things you find many times in the Old Testament is in the middle of the trouble, in the middle of all this negative stuff that's going on, you get this beam of hope that emerges and this line of hope. And it's something that God does repeatedly. In the Old Testament, he points to Jesus. He points to what's coming. He points to the salvation that's coming. And in this version here, in verse 17, it says, strengthen the man you love, the son of your choice. Then we will never be abandoned again. And there's just that hint in that the man that he loves, the son of his choice, that Jesus, that there's something being prepared that's bigger than what's going on at that point in time in that psalm. Now we live in the benefit of this, but there's this prophetic, string, if you like. There's this prophetic tie that links everything together, that God had a plan. He had the son of his choice. And this is like saying, get ready to send him. We need him. He's the one that will release that dimension of salvation. And when he's done that, we can never say that we're abandoned, because the promise is, and the promise that we live with, is that God is with us. God stays with us. God is always with us because of what Jesus did on the cross and through his resurrection. So, in a bit of a gloom and doom psalm in one way, there's this beacon of hope, and the hope was Jesus. I'm going to stop there. Bless you. Thank you for being with me. If you want something just to grab hold of and pray, ask God to give you clear ground that you can root in greater measure with greater strength. Bless you. Thank you for being with me. Bye for now.